It's Friday, March 20. Welcome back, Foxy Games UK new and existing subscribers. In today's video, we're not going to focus a whole lot on Xbox Series X or PlayStation 5 specs. We did that in Wednesday's previous video upload. What I'm going to talk about, that is the reaction of the development community and the overall buzz factor for both systems, particularly Sony's PS5 bespoke custom silicon, not available in any space on any platform, packed into the PS5 hardware. Also, Microsoft has some stuff going on under the hood as well that is not in Sony's machine, so both have their things going on. But before I begin, I want to make it clear I intend on purchasing both PS5 and Xbox Series X on launch day, and I intend to enjoy them both. I'll also be attempting to clear up the whole PS5/PS4 back and pack confusion, not helped by Sony. So let's begin with what the dev community has said so far, first and third party, and we'll take it from there. Sony first party developer Kurt Marjanua, hope I haven't butchered his name, tweeted, and I quote, "Still tripping about the PS5 SSD spec. Like people, you just don't know how big of a leap in terms of game design can be made, especially for first party who don't have to design to the lowest common denominator. By far the biggest leap in my career. Can't wait." And the creators of the Order 1886 and third-party studio Remedy at Dawn boss Andrea Pacino said, "Here's a dollar bet. Within a year from its launch, gamers will fully appreciate that the PS5 is one of the most revolutionary inspired home consoles ever designed, and will feel silly for having spent energy arguing about teraflops and other similarly misunderstood specs." So when referring to the next-gen custom architecture, PS4 and 5's lead system architect Mark Cerny said, "It is dangerous to rely on T-flops and also compute units to judge a console's power." So in fact, if you rewatch Digital Foundry's Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 DF Directs back to back, and particularly take note of all the buzz coming from the first and third party developers, it's clear to see that they seem more excited for and more impressed by PS5's custom technology. Will wild, baseless accusations of developer bias be made throughout the next generation, much like PS4 versus Xbox One media bias was in this current generation? You bet it will. In fact, it's already happening. Like I said, people looking at raw numbers are in for a rude awakening when they realize PS5 is far more advanced in tech than its nearest rival, and developers have started to tell it all. I also said that the Xbox Series X will be more prone to bottlenecks than PS5 since Sony implemented custom tech to ensure there are virtually zero bottlenecks when feeding all that graphic data through the fat pipe. Microsoft have taken a different approach, which isn't necessarily better or worse, which will reduce bottlenecks, but it is unlikely devs will be able to fully exploit that 12 T-flop GPU as a consequence of bottlenecks outside of the GPU. It's not just me saying this. NX Gamer said during his PS5 analysis video, link in the description, he said that, and I quote, "Microsoft went wide while Sony went fast." And indeed, Xbox SX has the more powerful GPU, but not by a country mile due to the higher GPU boost clocks in PS5. As such, bottlenecks could be an issue on Microsoft's console. Others have expressed similarly. Others like Kotaku's Jason Schreier. Here's a quote. "I heard from at least 3 different people in the development community in the last couple of hours like, wow, the PlayStation 5 is actually the more superior piece of hardware in a lot of different ways, despite what you see in the spec sheets." Interesting, but do take it with a grain of salt, won't you? I mean, we're talking about extremely rampant, extremely deviant, but highly experienced and talented game developers here. What the hell do they know, right? Sarcasm, everyone, just in case it isn't obvious to all of you. I mean, you never can tell. Some people take everything literally these days. But here's the problem I have with Sony right now. And yeah, sure, no secret I prefer PlayStation, but I have to admit, Microsoft have utterly thrashed Sony with its Xbox Series X messaging so far. Admittedly, I rather enjoyed the presentation and found it interesting, incredibly interesting. Indeed, Mark Cerny is a absolute genius. But I'm not sure the public needed to see that spec talk as presented. It would have been far more digestible and advantageous for Sony Interactive Entertainment, really, had Sony sat down with Digital Foundry or another prominent tech outlet with a bit of more show rather than just tell. It seems Sony have seemingly thrown up more questions than answers after that slightly alienating, I must say confusing to the layman, GDC intended TED talk. Though it is undeniable, as the Digital Foundry have said, outside of the stock 825GB ultra-fast SSD that ships inside every PS5, there is no current equivalent SSD on the market fast enough to keep up with Sony's new hardware. Which is absolutely true, says Digital Foundry, but you can bet the farm third-party vendors will be falling over themselves to produce their own PS5 SSDs, specifically for PS5 to take advantage, possibly pre or slightly post-launch. There will be a deluge of slinky fast compatible SSD sticks for PS5, meaning we can expect pricing to be competitive. Microsoft's solution is a proprietary one, and therefore could be pricier than what is available in the market at that time. Now look, when all said and done, and judging by what both platform holders have shared with us, you can expect on average around 7 to 8 seconds loading time on Xbox Series X, and around 0.5 to 1 second loading speeds on PlayStation 5. Now, that may not sound like a lot, but if you're waiting 8 seconds between cutscenes or say fast travel loads, that 8 seconds can be immersion breaking to the player and severely limits true next-gen game design. Now let's clear up that PS5 back compat confusion. During the Mark Cerny presentation, it wasn't entirely clear what he meant by "we're testing the top 100 PS4 titles for PS5 and all of them will work at launch." Now understandably, many took that as limited PS5 back compat, and that's not all games will work out of the box. Apparently all PS4 games will run on PS5, but only 100 of them will take advantage of PS5 hardware in some way or the other, whether that be faster speeds, increased graphics resolution, or frame rates, who knows. So in essence, yes, PS4 games will work at launch on PS5, and 100 or so of them will take advantage of the extra power of PS5, offering various improvements yet to be detailed by Sony Interactive Entertainment. So I hope that goes some way in clearing that little mess up. But sadly, we all know misinformation or misunderstanding, or the lie if you prefer, is far more entertaining than the truth. But when all is said and done, Xbox SX has the beefier GPU on paper. But in theoretical real-world performance, PS5 is expected to be the superior console in certain aspects that matter, like visuals, performance, non-existent game loading and installs perceptible by the user, offering immediate and uninterrupted play thanks to the ultra-fast, groundbreaking custom SSD. Now I stand by what I've said pre-PS5 spec reveal. It's efficiency versus brute force. Xbox Series X, yes, has the more powerful GPU, PS5 is the faster console, and that SSD is twice faster than Xbox Series X and faster than any SSD available on the market today, which I tweeted pre the spec reveal. Interesting then that many devs and now influencers are starting to refer to the Xbox Series X as the brute force machine, and PS5 as a system totally designed around cost and efficiency, just like I've said. The reality is PS5 can fill its entire GDDR6 16GB of RAM in just under 2 seconds. That means a fade to black will be on par with Hollywood movie transitions. Fast travel could take less than 0.5 seconds, or in a blink of an eye, as Mark Cerny stated. Yes, indeed, loading times will be dead on arrival on this system. But there's no clue on price yet. But if I had to make a prediction, I'd say 449, that's UK pounds, Great British pounds, or 499 US dollar. That's for PS5. And 549 UK pounds, GBP, and around 599 US dollars, Xbox Series X. I'll be very surprised if they both come in cheaper than that. But I'll end this video with a quote from Digital Foundry's John Linneman. Here's a quote. The craziest thing about PS5 is the speed of the SSD. 5.5 gigabytes per second raw speed, 9 gigabytes per second compressed is just part of the story. There's a lot of custom silicon in there, cracking, to ensure that the system isn't bottlenecked in other areas. It's really fast on paper, a lot faster than Xbox Series X. Well, there's that bottleneck word floating around again, isn't it? So the ill-informed just don't understand the nuance of the highly customized next-gen architecture. They just look at the greater number, 10.3 T-flop versus 12.1 T-flop. And that's it. One of them is declared the superior platform. Now, to further illustrate my point, I asked this rather pertinent question via my Twitter account yesterday, and now I'll ask you. So, there are two supercars at the starting line. One of the cars has a more powerful engine, but the other is faster. Which supercar wins the race? What say you? Go ahead, sound off, share your thoughts and opinions on today's news, because that unfortunately brings us to the end of another video, but let's continue the discussion cordially in the comments. And for all your current and next gen news updates, rumour and rampant speculation, hit the like button, spread the word, and yes, keep it locked to Foxy Games UK. Remember, relevant links where applicable can be found in this video's description. Subscribe to Foxy Games UK, remember to hit the notification bells so you never miss content. Thumbs up if you like it here, and help us reach more like-minded gamers simply by sharing this video. Consider supporting Foxy Games UK via Patreon, and or grab yourself a Foxy Games UK branded t-shirt or hoodie, available in various colours and designs. You'll find both links in the video's description. Truly appreciate the support. And that concludes our time together on this Friday. It was great hanging out. You can catch me on RGT over on BitCloud Gaming channel for the podcast, the weekly podcast. But until the next video, remember, play games, not corporations.